everyone. In this class, we'll try to discuss about what is fate of uh, RBC. At the end of the class, students should be able to know uh, what is lifespan of normal RBC and the changes that occur in senescent RBC. Give the types and mechanisms of red cell destruction. Describe fate of destroyed red cells. List the common causes of hemolytic jaundice. And list the biochemical test to detect hemolytic jaundice. And explain why hemolytic jaundice is common in newborn. There are two mechanisms of red cell destruction. One is the intravascular mechanism, another one is extravascular mechanism. Intravascular destruction, the RBCs are destroyed in circulation when their cell membrane is breached. The causes of intravascular destruction are the membrane of older red cells become rigid and become susceptible to rupture during circulation inside the blood vessel. Defect in the membrane facilitates the hemolysis in circulation. Intravascular destruction is also common in cardiac wall hemolysis and microangiopathic hemolytic anemia. Extravascular destruction, where the macrophages differentiate young and senescent red cells and they ingest older red cells. The two important changes that occur in senescent red cells that make them vulnerable to mechanical destruction or phagocytosis by macrophages is decreased deformability and alteration in surface properties. Deformability of the red cell helps them to easily pass through the narrow capillaries and splenic pulps. The biconcave shape and to some extent the viscosity of hemoglobin solution in the cell facilitate the ability of red cells to deform. Therefore, decreased deformability due to the change in shape as occurs in spherocytosis or elliptocytosis and increased internal viscosity as occurs in sickle cell or HBC disease make the red cells vulnerable to lysis while passing through the splenic pulp. Destruction of red cell causes the release of hemoglobin, which is then converted into heme and globin. Heme is converted to bile pigments. Fate of destroyed red cells depends on whether the cells were destroyed extravascularly or intravascularly. In extravascular destruction, the phagocytic cells such as macrophages, red cells are degraded by lysosomes into lipid, protein, and heme. Heme is later catabolized to bilirubin, and the protein and lipids are reprocessed in the catabolic pathways. Bilirubin formed from destruction of the red cells enters peripheral blood and circulate as unconjugated bilirubin. Unconjugated bilirubin is transported to liver where it gets conjugated and conjugated bilirubin is excreted through the bile into the GI2 tract. In the intestine, bilirubin is converted into urobilinogen by bacterial reduction. Urobilinogen is further converted to stercobilinogen and stercobilin that are excreted in stool. A smaller fraction of urobilinogen is absorbed from intestine and excreted through urine as a urinary urobilinogen. In the intravascular destruction, the destruction of the red cell in circulation releases the hemoglobin into plasma. In plasma, hemoglobin binds with haptoglobulin and decreases the serum haptoglobulin levels. Level of reduced haptoglobin indicates severity of hemolysis. The hemoglobin haptoglobin complex is transported to liver where the heme of Hb is converted into iron and biliverdin by heme oxygenase. CO is released during cleavage of heme by heme oxygenase. Biliverdin is further degraded to bilirubin. Heme in the plasma binds with hemopexin, a plasma glycoprotein. When the capacity of hemopexin to bind the heme is saturated, heme binds with albumin to form methamalbumin. In intravascular destruction or hemolysis, uh, is more, the hemoglobin circulates unbound in the blood and hemoglobinemia occurs. Hemoglobin enters kidney tubules to be excreted in urine that results in hemoglobinuria. In severe acute hemolysis, hemoglobin casts are deposited in the kidney tubules and damage the tubules, causing acute tubular necrosis and renal failure. So this is what happens in extravascular hemolysis and intravascular hemolysis. In extravascular hemolysis, in the macrophage, the hemoglobin gets converted into hemoglobin. Heme gets converted into bilirubin. Okay, so that circulated in the unconjugated forms with albumin. Then it goes to the liver, gets conjugated with glucuronide. Okay, so then it is excreted in the bile tract. Okay, so then it enters into the enterohepatic circulation. Okay, so some of them, bilirubin gets converted into uh, stercobilin, stercobilinogen and stercobilin, and urobilin gets excreted in the feces or in the urine. Okay, so in intravascular hemolysis, the heme gets mm, uh, formed with hemopexin, then it enters into the circulation, or the excess hemoglobin can enter into the renal tubules. It can lead to acute renal failure. Okay, and also it will lead to hemoglobinuria and hemosidenuria. What is hemolytic jaundice? Hemolytic jaundice occurs from increased destruction of red cells or their precursors in marrow, causing increased bilirubin production. Jaundice due to hemolysis is usually mild because the healthy liver can excrete a bilirubin load of 6 times of its normal concentration. However, this does not happen in newborn, hence, hemolytic jaundice is common in newborn. Heme is converted to biliverdin by heme oxygenation, heme oxidase, and biliverdin is converted into bilirubin by biliverdin reductase. Unconjugated bilirubin bound to albumin enters liver via and get conjugated by action of glucuronal transferase to form bilirubin diglucuronide. Following enterohepatic circulation, bilirubin is excreted through bile into intestine where it is converted into urobilinogen by bacterial reduction. Urobilinogen is further converted into stercobilinogen. A fraction of urobilinogen absorbed into the blood from intestine and excreted in urine as a urinary urobilinogen. Urobilinogen content of the stool and urine indicates the rate of hemolysis. As unconjugated bilirubin is mostly bound to protein bilirubin albumin complex, bilirubin is not filtered in the glomerulus and therefore there is no excretion of bilirubin in urine. Hence, hemolytic jaundice is called as acholuric jaundice. Bilirubin is not excreted in the urine. However, urine color may become brown due to the excretion of urobilinogen in urine. Increased quantity of fecal stercobilinogen can cause dark brown colored stool. The plasma bilirubin is usually less than 6 milligram percent and liver function tests are usually normal. Okay. So this is what how the RBC is going to be circulated in what is the fate. 80 to 85% gets destructed after they become old, and 15 to 20% occurs because of ineffective erythropoiesis. Uh, the more of RBCs are going to be destroyed. Heme gets converted into bilirubin and biliverdin and bilirubin, so gets conjugated with albumin, gets uh, and it is secreted in the intestinal tract. Okay, so then it gets recirculated through the enterohepatic circulation. So some amount gets excreted as a urobilinogen and fecal stercobilinogen. So these are some of the causes for hemolytic anemia. Like some of the inherited disorders like spherocytosis, elliptocytosis, G6PD deficiency, pyruvate kinase deficiency, sickle cell anemia, and in acquired disorders, microangiopathic hemolytic anemia, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, spur cell anemia, immune hemolysis like warm and cold antibodies, hemolytic disease of newborn, incompatible blood transfusion, and drug induced. And at last, the burn. Thank you.